All right, so today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a amazing seafood dinner. I'm going to make some, I guess it's going to be like a seafood pasta and like a butter lemon sauce. So this is all the ingredients that I need for that. My king oysters are going to take the role as scallops. And then I'm also going to make some crab cakes out of hearts of palm. This is the stuff that I'm going to use with that. Some vegan mayo and some garlic. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see how to make a vegan seafood dinner that I'm sure all of your seafood lover friends will enjoy. I'm gonna work on the crab cakes first, and so what I'm gonna do is I've drained my hearts of palm, and if you are not familiar with hearts of palm, get familiar with them. They are excellent seafood replacers. I use them in my seafood boils. They're excellent. They can take the place of crab, shrimp, tuna, whatever you want. But I've taken all of my cans, drained them, and I'm about to pulse them in my blender. And you can see it breaks apart just like seafood. It looks just like seafood. So this is my crab meat, aka hearts of palm, and this is the celery and red onion all pulsed up together, and that's going to be the base for my crab cakes. So here's everything in my bowl. I moved it to a glass bowl to make it a little bit easier to see, but I'm also adding in a whole thing of green onion, just a whole bundle of them. I have my flax egg that actually did get to that consistency that I was explaining, more like an egg-like consistency, so dump that in there. Then I take a little bit of vegan mayo, probably about a good scoop. And I usually like the Just Mayo brand of vegan mayo. But ever since Hellmann's got their brand going, like, they shut Just Mayo down. Like, I can never find the big things of Just Mayo at King Soopers or Safeway anymore. I have seen, like, the small ones, but they literally charge, like, $5 for the small ones now when they used to be, like, $3. So Hellmann's, I'm telling you, when the big brands buy into this vegan stuff, they win every time. So now I'm just adding garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, and Old Bay seasoning. I'm gonna add a pretty good amount of Old Bay seasoning. And I can go light on my salt just because of the fact that Old Bay already has salt in it, and you have to be sorry, you have to be very, very careful that you don't go crazy with salt when you're using spices that actually have salt. But I am going to go with some black pepper. And I don't even think I'm going to use any salt as of this moment, because I also still have to add some fish fry, store-bought fish fry. You can just use like chickpea flour if you don't want to go to that level, but I like a little fish fry in there. So this is what everything is in my bowl, and then I just go in and mash it up. If it's too wet, I'll add more of the fish fry or flour, whichever you used. But I think this, well, I'm gonna add a little bit more. This is what your mixture should look like before you roll it into the balls. Once I have everything balled up and placed on a tray, usually I would use parchment paper at this point, but I don't have parchment paper, so I just sprayed some coconut oil spray on aluminum foil. But once I have them balled, I just go in and I press them down. I'm going to do that to every single one of the cakes. And then I'm going to set them in the freezer for about 30 to 45 minutes before I bake them. So while I have the crab cakes in the freezer, which I only put them in the freezer to let them solidify a little bit, because if you bake them while they're still very wet, I feel like you don't get as firm of a texture as if you let them kind of freeze up, harden up a little bit, and then put them directly into a hot oven. I just feel like the texture comes out better. But in the meantime, I just did some dishes and I am about to start working on this scallop seafood pasta. So get ready to see that now. So I have actually never made scallops out of oyster mushrooms, but I see a lot of recipes online from vegans actually using king oyster mushrooms as a scallop substitute. So I'm going to give this a try. So I'm just going to slice these up, pan fry them, and that's going to be my scallops. So stay tuned and I will show you guys how I do that. This is my pan just warming up with a little bit of grapeseed oil in it. Here is all of my scallops chopped up. They really do kind of look like scallops for real. But anyway, I'm going to saute them in there with some garlic and all of my spices. These scallops smell amazing. You know, I already showed y'all I just added some grapeseed oil and some garlic. And then I added, of course, onion powder, salt and pepper, and a little bit of Old Bay. And don't be scared to let these scallops get a little crispy, because remember, this is not real seafood, so it is not gonna burn and alter the texture. These are mushrooms, so they can cook, and be fine. Now that my scallops are done cooking, I have set them to the side, and I'm going to make the actual base for the pasta sauce. And it's going to be almond milk, garlic, butter, and lemon juice. Of course, with a bunch of spices that I'll let you guys know that I use. And I'm also going to add cherry tomatoes to this sauce. And I know I've mentioned it before in my previous recipe vlog style videos, but I do not measure my seasonings or really anything that I use. That's why I don't bake, because baking requires measurements. Like, I just freeball everything that I do, so please don't ask me how much I use. Just eyeball it. You know, I try and just let y'all know the consistency something should be, the texture something should be. I'll show you a visual, but I don't use measuring cups unless I'm baking, which again is something I never do. This is the butter, milk, and garlic all mixed up. And I do have faith that it's going to thicken up a little bit, because right now, obviously, it's very loose and thin. But if it does not thicken up, then I will just add a little bit of chickpea flour to give it a little more hardiness to it. Now I've added some of this seasoning, which I love. They have a whole line of all-purpose seasonings that are amazing. I've added that as well as some lemon juice, and I just have my noodles boiling. For the cherry tomatoes, some of them I'm going to slice in half, and some of them I'm going to place in there whole. Then I have some of my dried cilantro, and this is a couple layers of dried parsley. Some of that's going to go in there. But this is what my sauce is looking like. I did end up adding a little bit of chickpea flour. Oh, I might probably now have to add a little bit more milk. Well, I might not have to add more milk. I think that might be a good consistency. So, yeah. I'm just freeballing everything, so. But I think I'm on the right track. Now that my oven is hot, I have pulled these out of the freezer, and I have my oven set to 400 degrees. So I'm about to pop these bad boys in. So the pasta finished cooking, and I have added it to the creamy base, and look how amazing this looks. Look how amazing this looks. I'm not going to add the scallops into it just because I think I'd rather top the pasta with the scallops just to really emphasize the scallops. But you can mix it together if you want to. But yeah, this is what it looks like. And I will show you guys the crab cakes when they come out the oven. So right now my crab cakes are at about the halfway point. And I'm going to flip them. They've been in the oven for probably about 20 minutes. I'm about to flip them and cook them for another 20.